Are your current habits keeping you stuck? Chances are, if you're watching this video, I'm going to guess that the answer is yes. So my name is Kara Michelle. I am a release expert and energy healer, and I help people to release the baggage and up-level their inner game so that they can really increase their impact. And the reason I want to talk about habits today is because habits are a huge foundation of who we are and how we show up in the world. So if you are not following success habits, if you are just going through the motions, if you're doing the same things every day that you used to do growing up and you've spent years doing, then your normal habits are probably keeping you limited and keeping you stuck. And I'm going to share why and help you break through that right now. So when we create these habits, they become programmed in our subconscious mind, and they become part of our identity and who we believe we are. So when you have this habitual routine of, like, oh, I always start my morning with this and then that, and then I have my coffee and then I go to work, and I always do this, and I put my left shoe on first and then my right shoe. And then that becomes part of what your subconscious believes to be you. And when you then end up having these external situations of maybe stress or anxiety or overwhelm, or maybe you struggle with a lot of insecurities, any of those things are programmed into your current version of yourself. And I want you to think of it almost like a video game or something where, you get to choose who you are each day. So you don't have to show up as the anxious, insecure, overwhelmed person. You can show up as the positive, joyous, happy, successful, confident person too. But it's what you decide to be, and it's also the habits that back up that version of yourself. So your morning habits, if you're just going through the motions, if you're kind of grumbly and tired and you don't feel that great and you're kind of heading off to work already in a bad mood, those are habits that are creating and reaffirming this identity that you currently have. Compare that to if you wake up and you start with like a meditation or yoga or even just like a normal workout, and you go to the gym and you get, your blood pumping and you release those endorphins. And then you maybe create a little morning gratitude practice and you focus on something that makes you really grateful and you appreciate it for a couple minutes so that you feel more positive, you feel more blessed in your current situation. That is such a simple difference between those two mornings, and it's going to create profound results over time because you're creating success habits and you're creating more positivity. You're creating a whole different version of yourself when you go to work that day. So looking at your morning routine and looking at your habits in general throughout the day can be really, really powerful to create this awareness around the foundation you have set for yourself. And one thing that's really important to realize is that it's not necessarily easy to change these habits. I mean, we've all heard that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and that's because you've spent years programming a certain way, so that's just natural to you. And sometimes we even forget that we have a choice because we feel like we're totally stuck and like that is who we are, this is what I do, this is normal. But the thing is it doesn't have to be. You just need to be aware of it and realize that you are the awareness behind the action. You are actually the one in control, and you get to decide what it is you're doing each day. So you can create that new habit or that new pattern and get out of that situation. And I hope that makes sense. But creating those success habits is going to be so huge because it starts to shift your reality. And you'll start to notice as you add in some more positive habits in the morning. And, it's so easy for people. Like, I can even just like imagine some people watching this and going like, oh, but I don't want to wake up early, or like, oh, I already have to get up at 7 o'clock for work, so I don't have time in the morning for that. And like, I've said that excuse in the past. I could make any excuse to sleep, I promise you that. But when you realize that, setting an alarm an extra 15 minutes early is not a big deal. Get up, do a 5-minute meditation, do a 5-minute gratitude thing and put on your coffee or whatever it is you do. Adding in something as simple as that will change the total trajectory of your life. You just need to commit to making that little shift. And the reason that you haven't had the success or the happiness, or you don't have the career or the relationship that you want right now, is because there's a bunny. It's because you haven't made the shifts, and it's because you have continued to use that as an excuse of not wanting to wake up early, or but that's just what I do and that's who I am. And like, you've made excuses to stay exactly where you are. So imagine what it would be like if you made excuses to change, and you made an excuse and you said, you know what, I'm gonna wake up 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early, I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times a week before work. Start something that's going to benefit you, and continuously remind yourself that this new habit is going to create change, and it's a positive habit. Even if you wake up and you're tired and you feel like, oh, I just want to keep sleeping, remind yourself of the positives and work on reprogramming that way, instead of allowing the negative and the old habit to just pull you back in. Because it's literally like you have an angel and a devil on your shoulder, and one is saying, wake up early, go do this, you're gonna feel great. And then you've got the old devil who's been around for years, keeping you in your habits and your patterns, and he's saying, oh, you don't need to go, just go back to sleep, and you'll just feel tired after, so you might as well sleep now. Or like, whatever it is that old programming is gonna say, it's gonna try whatever it can to keep you in its normal habit, because that's what you've been doing for so long. So create a lot of awareness around your habits is number one. Really pay attention to what it is you do, what's helping you and what isn't. And you can even make a simple list right now of like, pros and cons, or like, what are some things that you have habits of, and are they actually helping you? And then just start to slowly shift them. I personally prefer to kind of go like cold turkey, and I try to cut everything out at once, so that it's like a drastic shock to my system, and it's like, this is a new person. It's like I'm driving and all of a sudden I'm just going like, I'm redirecting a different way. That's how I work, versus driving and slowly cutting out one thing and then slowly making the turn and slowly, like, I prefer to do it all at once and make a big shift. But some people don't work that way, and sometimes that creates more problems in the long run for people. So don't overwhelm yourself. Do what works for you, but just know that the habits you create, the habits you have right now ingrained in yourself, are probably keeping you stuck. So start creating awareness, start making some changes, start adding some positive habits in there. Do anything you can that's different, Start to look at who it is you want to be and ask yourself what kind of habits they would have. And then start to embrace or like embody those habits, and you'll start to become that person. So you have 100% control over who you are, how you show up in the world, and don't keep letting your old habits or this old belief of who you are keep you stuck running that same program. Make a change, start becoming that new version of yourself right now, and watch as your whole life changes around you. So if this is helpful, comment below. Let me know what one of the biggest negative habits is you have, like what's one thing that you feel like you can't get rid of, or you feel really stuck, or you're just like, oh, but I just like doing this so much, I don't know that I can live without it. Because a lot of times also we can find little hacks and we can find ways to work through them and still incorporate a piece of them, but create it into a more positive success habit. So I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. Comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video.